Hello and welcome back to Nat Scrubs. Today is the third layout or the third video with the fourth layout. I did this last video that I created with the Skylark collection, and it probably will be the last one, to tell you the truth, because we're so far into February. I need to move on. I have quite a few scraps here, but I'm thinking I'm going to cut them down into 2" by 2" squares. My thinking is I can get lots of the different patterns that I've got left on there and then create from there. So I've cut them up, but then I kind of realized that I have got those patterns there but nothing else to go with them, and I'm calculated I need 4 more or 3 more of something else, and I'm looking through and I can't quite find anything. In the end, there's my thinking fingers. I go to, excuse my croaky voice, I go to creating my own paper. So in the first video I created a border for my base page. I'm using the same stencil. Was in part of the Skylark collection, so I'm using that, and I'm going to create a paper that I can cut up to go with the other ones that I have. So I'm just kind of adding something that's a little bit lighter and not as patterned, solid patterned color. It is patterned, but yeah, I just needed something else to go in there that I didn't have in the collection. This fig. Oh, you guys must think I'm crazy sometimes when I do these voiceovers. So I've quickly gone through and blended that stencil over that white cardstock, and I'm going to cut it up into 2 by 2" squares as well. So really I've got the basis of my page kind of already planned out, and I'm going to bring in my base cardstock and lay those squares out so that they're evenly spaced on the layer. Now it's all going to be over to the left hand side. I'm not, oh, surprise, I forgot I'd done this bit. I blend all the edges of the pieces of cardstock. I didn't keep all that footage in because you guys don't need to see me blending. Now my squares are all going to be over to the left hand side, which was what I was about to tell you before. My own actions that I'd forgotten I'd done cropped in and cut me off. And then the photo is going to be sort of in the middle-ish with a cluster down on the left-hand side at the bottom. So that's what my basic thinking is. And you can see there I've got the 3 rows of 4 and my photo. My photo obviously needs to be matted up, so we're going to do that. And I looked there at the green, didn't think quite that was going to go with it. Now I don't have really people in green except for my mum, who's in a completely different colored green in the photo. She's in kind of like a jade green, but so bringing in a solid green that didn't match my mum would look strange. And if I did bring in the jade green that matched my mum's top, it would have clashed with the papers. So I then went to neutrals. So that was my thinking behind how I matted the photo. When I did it in just white, it got lost on the right hand side of the page, so I double matted it, put some brown behind it, and now I'm bringing in this sticker and I'm going to cut this one down. So I go to cut it, and then me, who always thinks about what I can use different bits for, figures that if I use my craft knife to cut it, I can leave a border that I can use later on in on a page or something like that. So this is me being thrifty. Really, in the end, you know, I could have just cut off what I didn't need, but that's sort of what I do. I'm going to bring in, this is a rotating craft mat, and I find it easier sometimes to cut on this mat rather than a solid mat, because I can spin it around. Now I did put a little bit of tape on the back of this sticker. I had taken the sticker off when I thought I was going to use it on a different layout, and then so I put a little bit of tape so it didn't move around on there, but that just swings. Don't ask me where I've got it. I've had it for quite a few years. I think it might have been Crafter's Companion. maybe, but it does come in handy sometimes, especially if you've got lots of fussy cutting and you want to be able to turn the piece that you're cutting on rather than turning that. You can use the turntable. Oh, words. Here I'm just double matting that on to a piece of white, and then I'll have another little look at it and I'll go, no, it's still not popping enough for me. So then I will mat it again onto a piece of brown, and really that is just going to work well because the photo is matted in white then brown, so it equals each other out a little bit. Now this little sticker, if you can't read what it says up, it says the best things in life are the people we love, places we've been, and the memories we've made along the way, which I thought's rather a cute little sign to go onto a page. I've tried to use it a couple of times on layouts and it was just that little bit too large in scale for me, but I think if you were doing a page where you had just photos and not a lot of other embellishments going around, that would work really, really well. I've brought in this stamp set, and what I'm looking at is to build up some flowers down in that corner around that little sign. I keep calling it a sign, I have no other words for it. And here I'm looking at well, first I'm trying to figure out which of the dies go which of the flowers, which is quite a feat, believe me. I work at it for quite a while before I just go stamp them, and we'll figure it out after they've stamped. But there's a lot of dies and a lot of stamps on here to match up. So I go in and I'm going to stamp some of these. Now when I do this, I'm going to do a second generation stamping as well as a first generation stamping. That will mean that I'll have some that are brighter and some that are a little bit duller, and that will give me a lot more, even though I'm using just the two colours, it will give me a lot more colours around the page and a different kind of look than just doing them all in the one colour. I used a variety of the flowers, and I didn't use everything that I stamped out in the end. There was a few that were left over at the end, but I will pop them into a little container along with others that I've just got flowers and leaves and things in. And one day I may just be scrapping and find that I need a flower to go somewhere, and they will be useful for that. Once I have all of these cut out, I'm going to take them over to the die cutting machine and die cut what I feel that I need for this particular layout. I do leave some on the cardstock, just it was a time thing, and I just kind of thought, oh no, those ones I don't quite need. And there was a couple that I did just move the plates when I was pulling them out to die cut them, so they got left aside as well. There is this leaf, and I'm thinking of putting leaves in. I eventually go back to the same die that I used in the last layout. So if you haven't seen that, there's some leaves on that one as well. And I end up going back and using that die for this layout. And that's the one that you can just see there in the middle of the table. Once I've got all of those cut out, I'm going to start placing them around that little sign. Somebody give me a different word to sign, because sign doesn't even make sense. I know what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put all those squares down. So to give this a little bit of, and you can't really see on the page, and even at the end when I do the little slow down at the end, you won't really be able to see this, but I've got these mounted up, and it gives a bit of depth. There's not that much on this page. There's not a whole heap of decoration, but I wanted to give it a little bit more by mounting all of those squares up off the page a little bit. And it's not something that has to be done, but I've just added. And then I've gone and placed them. Now, to get these nice and even, I sort of started in that center at the 6-inch mark, and then left a couple of quarter of an inch or an eighth of an inch in between each one as I went along and popped them on. I did cut that out too, guys, because you don't want to sit here and watch me put pieces of cardstock on in squares for hours on end. At least I don't think you do. If you do, let me know, because I could do that. Here we go. We're going to pop on the photo, and I'm just putting it slightly to the top and leaving it there. I didn't actually put it right in the center. If I put it right in the center, it just looks a little wrong. Now we're going to go back and build that cluster again, adding all of the flowers in, and I did cut another little bit of that out because I then pushed them all off to the side again when I realized that I want a few splatters on this page. At the moment, it's quite not basic, but there's not much going on in that background, and because there's such a big white area over to one side, I just thought a few splatters in gold and another few in white would help with that not looking quite so bare. So here we go with the white as well, and then we will go back to building those clusters. When I go back to do this at this time, I'm going to pop the magic mount onto that little sign, and then pop in the flowers all about. Here we go, and building again. So I have a fair idea of how I want this, so it should go pretty quick, and I'm just trying to get sort of, you know, where there's a light flower, have a dark flower. So you can see on the left of the sign, I've got a dark green with a more muted blue, and then on the other side I have a brighter blue with a muted green, so that I'm mixing up that one side's not all bright and one side's not all dark, and hopefully that mixes them in a bit and makes it feel a bit natural and not unbalanced. Once I have those pretty much where I want them, I'm going to go through and add some glue and stick them down. Thank goodness it's not like the last video. If you bared through the last video where I constantly move things to the point of absolute craziness, then you'll know what I mean. At least I'm getting these ones down and glued. Now there is a couple that I've put the foam tape on it to give them a bit more dimension, but remembering that I've already got foam tape down on the squares and then foam tape again on the sign, I didn't want to do too much there. I did just pop this little sticker down and then realized because the photo is mounted up, I just needed a little bit of foam tape underneath one half of this sticker, and you'll see me rectifying that. So this little sticker says, "So happy when we're together," and I think that is a perfect little statement. Now these little stickers are really hard to see where they're on the page, but they're see-through stickers and have gold words on them, and there's a few that I've just splattered around. Now this is from my stash from ages and ages ago, but I have perfect, happy, love you more, and life is good, and I've just managed to splatter a few of those around and explore life. Oh, I seen another one there, and there's a couple of little arrows too that I've added. Now they are really hard to see even in the still photos and in the close-up because they're clear and they've just got tiny writing on them, but they just add a little bit of depth and some just tiny details onto the page. Here I'm just popping a couple of pieces of the foam tape just under some leaves just to help them keep dimension. And we're very close now to finishing. On the sticker sheet there was these few little kind of browner flowers, so I've splattered a couple of those around, just looking for anything else that I might have needed to add, and I'm pretty happy with that. Now you might say, you've done everything now. What on earth are you doing now? Well, I know that this needs a border around the outside, so I'm just trimming this down, and I knew that I would need to do this right from the start, but I sort of didn't know what color I wanted, and I looked at some, you know, greens and some blues and that, and I thought I'm going to make the page and then decide. So here you can see I've brought in some green, and I've decided that that's going to be the one that I'm going to put as a base page, but that I didn't want it just plain green. Now you did see me hold a piece of the cardstock there at one stage, and I was thinking that because it's got a bit of pattern to it and I liked that, but it wasn't punchy enough color, and there was edges where there was, you know, designs on the very edges which would have just shown little bits. And so I've got the frame that I've cut, like this is the base bit, but I've cut out the guts so that I can use it on another project because paper is expensive and we want to save as much of it as we can. And then I've got my ink and a stamp. Now this stamp is from that Skylark collection of stamps, and I'm just going to use that. It's a little flourish that's meant to sort of go across top or around a page, but I'm just using this one and stamping it randomly all the way around the outside of this base, and then we can pop that behind and it will give that just like there's a subtle pattern there. Now I'm not being too particular about getting everything really well lined up or anything like that. I'm just getting that pattern on there, and you're only going to see a tiny smidge of it, but I do like the fact that it does give the pattern on the end. I'd like to know if you think that was a good idea or whether you would have used something else as the base. Now I'm just going to go around the edge of my page and give a little bit of green and then adhere it down. Now I think I just cut a snippet of this out so that you didn't have to watch it all. And ta-da, let's go and get it down. I thought I'd cut more of that out, but anyway. Now it is very, very close to N, but we do want a few little enamel dots on there, so I'm going to bring those in and we're going to splatter those around. And I do decide to put a couple of enamel dots on the inside of a couple of the flowers. So I think I put that aqua one there, which is, it's actually called Lagoon, the color, but pop that one there. And that makes me think I've got those tiny little gold stickers around the place and I want to tie them in a little bit. So I end up going into my stash and I have some gold enamel dot, the liquid. And I have a bit of a look at that. Now it is getting a little bit old, so it doesn't blob as good as it should, but I go around and I do the blobs on the inside of the flowers and just a couple of other tiny little ones just around the place, and that will tie the gold in that I have with the stickers and yada yada yada. And that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much. There's a slowdown here and then a still photo of the project. Thank you so much for spending the time with me. Let me know what you think and how you've liked these pages, and leave a comment. I will get back to you if you do leave a comment, and I love having your comments on my videos. But thanks heaps, guys, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.